Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to the Pals podcast. This is take 2 of our intro. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties lately.
Whoops.
But I'm your co-host, Ricky Liordi.
I'm George Boutsalis. For those of you returning guests, thanks for being our pals and following us along this journey of ours. For those first-time listeners, we really appreciate you tuning in. We would love it, truly, if you could leave us a review, give us 5 stars, subscribe, like, and all those great things. We appreciate all the support so far, guys. And if you want to continue to show your support, that would mean the world to us. If you could get on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, leave us a review, comment, a like, a thumbs up, our 5-star review, that'd be terrific. Without further ado, let's jump into this pod. And I want to give a shout out to our guest, big guest, Mr. Michael Wekerle.
Yeah, Michael Wekerle. He's kind of a good old friend of ours, a nice pal. We've met him many, many years ago, but we decided to have him in the studio to chat about his career on Bay Street, his time on Dragon's Den, and most notably his new venture that he's working on that he's built, El Macombo. If you don't know about it, it's one of the most legendary venues in the city of Toronto and probably in the whole country. It's a staple in the city. He bought it a couple years ago, and he's finally getting ready to really change the entertainment and nightlife scene in Toronto, bringing a lot of good homegrown guests into the city while also providing a stage for a lot of local artists to get their name out there. So doing a lot of great things, supporting local, and we had a good chat about all of it. Yeah,
it was a blast. We want to give a shout out to a new sponsor and supporter of the Pals podcast. Just a terrific company. My pal, what do you got in your hand over there? Damn, that sounds nice. Day after St. Paddy's Day too, so we've put a few of these back yesterday, I think.
Oh yeah, we were crushing a couple of them. We'd like to give a shout out, and this is one of our new presenting sponsors, Kingsville Brewery. We've been drinking the Light A lager, and it's refreshing, light, premium, and it's a perfect drink to have with your pals on the cottage, in the studio, wherever you are. It's all natural, clean ingredients, award-winning Canadian beer. They're available at your local LCBO, beer stores, grocery stores, and some of the best beer we've had. And big shout out to them because they even gave us this nice red fridge you'll see in our studio on YouTube. So check them out at www.kingsvillebrewery.com or on socials at Kingsville Brewery.
Yeah, love it. That fridge is fantastic. Kingsville, thank you so much, guys. It makes it very easy for me to grab a nice, refreshing Kingsville Canadian beer literally right next to the couch. So appreciate that. And guys, as someone who's not the biggest beer drinker, I can tell you that these are honestly, the beer's incredible. We love partnering with people who we believe in their brand, believe in their product, and I can tell you Kingsville makes a quality beer. I really enjoy it. Like I said, I had a few of them yesterday for St. Paddy's. So thanks, Kingsville. We appreciate the partnership. And guys, go check them out at LCBO and pick up a pack today.
And yeah, only 130 calories per pint.
I could afford to lay off the calories too. So thanks again, Kingsville. Appreciate that. Guys, I want to give another shout out to our baby, our project, our new platform, Cast. For those who are not aware, Cast is a new social media platform, and it's the first social voting platform of its kind. We are on a mission to remove the friction to participate in online conversations, and what that means is we want to create a place for people to be honest, authentic, curious, genuine, and just be themselves online. We want to remove that fear of judgment and reprisal, and create a curious community of people that can ask questions, give answers, have healthy discourse, and all of the important things in life that help stimulate conversation and communication. So right now we are in open beta. It's a super exciting time. We just launched the website, so you can now download it from our website, from our social channels, wherever you need to get it. You can go to joincast.co or joincast.co on any social media platform and download the app today. We're live on Android now and on iOS. And hopefully soon our full web platform will be up. But yeah, get to our website, www.joincast.co, to download today. We love you all. Thank you for the support so far.
And one last sponsor, last but not least, our good friends over at RFP Design. If you haven't been watching on YouTube, we actually have a brand new, sleek, sexy looking new couch in the studio. It's become a staple of our studio now, and it's gorgeous. And it's from our good friends over at RFP Design. Reliable, innovative, skilled. This is your custom furniture experience transformed. They turn visions into requests into reality. We've known Andrew Moretti and his team for many years now, and we finally got a chance to work with them. And the whole process was seamless. From designing the couch to picking the fabric to the delivery and installation, everything, it was just super easy and convenient. They made our job honestly super easy. So if you're looking for any new furniture or looking for any custom projects, reach out to them at www.rfpdesign.com and let them know that the pal sent you. You won't get a discount, but just let them know we sent you anyways, just for fun.
Hey, throw them a discount, Andrew.
There we go.
Come on.
For the pals. But Georgie.
LFG, baby.
Let's go. It's casual conversation. Chatting with the pals.
As long as Jade keeps chopping up my coffee.
Yeah. Don't worry. We'll have the drinks.
Finest coffee here. Well, let me turn my phone on to silent.
Yeah, make sure we're all on silent here.
Yeah.
Mike, it's good to have you on.
Thank you.
It's been a while since we've last seen each other.
Yeah, well, we go back quite a while, you know. I go back to the time, and it's probably back, if we have to fly back in time 10 years, where we were sitting back in my pool in Forest Hill, and we don't need to give too much information, but I was very impressed with you guys, you know, because, you know, my daughter Carly, who's, you know, my love of my life.
Big shout out.
Shout out for Carly. Is that she always brought people there, and she said, "Daddy, you got to know this person. He's going to be something big." So now, fast forward 10 years, I'm here in your camp, Ricky. So it's a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
That's humbling.
I love pumping my tires a little bit. I've always said it's nice when people do that right off the bat. I appreciate that.
Well, definitely the best dressed guest we've ever had on the.
I know. If I knew you were
we love all our guests, but I mean, kind of come with a statement piece.
You know, it's one of the times when I started the exchange in 1982. They said dress for success, and I had hair down to the middle of my back. And the person who hired me, Alec Miller, who's an incredible guy, he said, you know, you have 15 minutes to cut your hair. So I went to the hair barber. Those days, it was like in the First Canadian Place, which is the side building. And it had the barber thing there, you know, it's kind of old school. And he said, "How do you want your hair cut?" And I was really depressed because I spent many years, 20 years, growing this mane of mine. And I thought it was very important to my personality. But at the end of the day, I looked at him, I go, "I'd like you to cut it as short as you possibly can and in silence."
That's it. How short did he go?
Oh, right to the wood.
Right.
As short as you could do it. I went from hair down to the middle of my back to right to the wood. It was like army cut.
Come on.
Yeah, but I needed the job. I needed the money. I was 19 years old. I just got a job on the exchange, and I kind of, because of last in first out, I had to leave, and I spent the next 2 weeks or 4 weeks just going to the exchange and trying to interview. And a really great company, First Marathon, hired me. And I have to give the respect to the people that really took me to the dance, you know. And Alec Barty Miller, who passed away last year, was probably one of the most key individuals in my life. And he was an old school Scarborough guy, you know, that grew up at the beaches, and you know, his family was, you know, East End, and he was a real guy. And he used to look at me, and you know what? I've never seen somebody that is content with their lot as he is. As people used to tell me, you know, and in the investment business, you always try to, you know, step on the next stage and make more money, get the next boat, get the next plane, get the next bigger house. But he said, you know, the person who's successful is content with their lot, content with what they have. And I didn't realize that till 20 or 30 years later in my life, where you can accumulate lots of things, but really what the essence of life is the ability to actually be content with what you have. And it's not necessarily monetary. It could be actually with what you're doing here and saying, "Hey man, I'm happy with what I do. I'm happy doing the interview. I'm happy to build a wall of fame that is my wall of fame, because all these people have relevance in my life, yet they might not be to someone else's life, but this is my life." And if you have to go back from the days of the 60s, the Beatles and the Doors and all the different incredible artists like Jimi Hendrix, they would have said the same thing. You know, they really wanted to make a statement, and there was an artistic statement and a money statement. And sometimes they coincide, and sometimes they don't. But you know, I'm very proud of you guys because you know, you're half my age, and I'm very proud of this Pals podcast.
Appreciate
that.
And,
Yeah,
you
appreciate
know,
that.
And I'm going to totally take these Smarties out of this thing.
Hey, help yourself at any
We'll
time.
get you some. Actually, that you gonna tell it?
So my buddy, Ricky and some other pals of ours, my birthday last year, April, like middle of COVID, early days. I'm known for have a history of doing like pretty out there birthdays. Kind of been some trips, some
Not
parties,
pretty,
whatever.
very out there, very.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
I
think
want
the two of
to.
us.
We have to, after this. I want to hear the most out there birthday
For sure. I'm happy to share it.
Why don't you just tell it right now?
We had some pretty crazy ones. Let's tell this. Finish the
Fine,
story, then
finish
I'll
the
get
story.
into that.
Don't tell it.
And then this year was kind of tame, so we just
See, that is going to be the cutout version. So if you want to subscribe for this podcast, you want to take the extra, what I call the outcast version, then subscribe high up.
There you go. Honestly, that's a good one. I like that. That's this is the PG version. We'll get
That's
the
right.
uncut version.
The step it up version.
But this machine, I'm like I guess a candy.
He's known for
fiend.
eating.
Yeah, I eat a lot, and
I love
give me a
candy.
hard time. So
You don't get a gullet like this.
Exactly. We eat well.
Shit, man. I buy my shirts in 16 pair now. It's really awkward.
And my friends got me a candy machine, and I had that in my house or my condo from like April until we got the studio in October. So for about like whatever that is, 3, 4, 5 months, and I filled it up from Bulk Barn. By the way, that's expensive. That's a deep machine. Like it will rack up a bill. And I finished it basically. So when I got into the bottom, I was like, guys, I need to get this thing the hell out of here. Because I think I gained like 10 pounds. I would just every night, I'm like, you know what, maybe one turn a night. And I just, 3,
I
7.
I know.
Zero self-control.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
I could go through. You know what the worst part about getting turtles are? Is they give you 3.
Yeah.
And you start with, well, I'll just take 1. Then you take 2. Then Twix decides to do a supersize. I go, come on, man. Come on,
So
man.
I can't do that one.
No, I know. You can't do 1. Like, please give me a limited edition because I love it too much.
Yeah.
And if I keep going down this path, I'm now down to the strawberry, the coffee, Haagen-Dazs. And I'm now going upscale. I'm going right into the Mocha Coca Loco.
You know who I can't trust? People I can't trust. People who eat like one piece of chocolate and put the rest back.
Oh,
you gotta finish the bar.
No, come on.
Like, how can you have like the?
No.
I mean, I respect
That's
the
not a
discipline.
true chocolate.
I don't trust that.
No, I don't. It's,
Come on.
It is a fakesy.
Yeah.
No, do you want to know the tough one is how they put family size on the bag of chips now?
Yeah.
It's like I eat that whole thing myself. We all do. No, you don't eat a couple of chips and put.
I've seen
put
you
the
eat
bag.
2 bags in like one sitting.
Yeah, it's like that's
at the
family size.
cottage.
That's not family size. But actually, funny story talking about chocolate. Me and George went to a chocolate tasting tour in Switzerland at the Lindt Chocolate Factory back in
It is upgrading.
2017.
You're just bragging now.
No, so we went there and we're thinking, we'll be fine. We'll just have a couple pieces of chocolate. We'll try them all. Well, they don't tell you at the end of this chocolate tasting, it's a free for all. It's a 30-minute all-you-can-eat chocolate buffet.
It's like
basically.
Willy Wonka.
It's literally we ate so
You're
much.
diving in.
And then you got the Sugar Crush after, and we're supposed to go to a music festival after, and we're both borderline like candied out zombies. So, but yeah, that was Switzerland.
That was a good
27.
one.
Well, speaking about music festivals, Weckfest. That's obviously it's the
Good segue.
it's probably the hottest party in the city that you can never go to.
Yeah, I started this for Seeds of Hope, which was a great challenge because, I really believe in the underprivileged environment. Having grown up as, immigrant parents that came into the city and, 3 sisters, my hand-me-down clothes were chick clothes, so it was kind of embarrassing at school. True story. But what I realized is that, to make a difference in life, you have to make a statement. So the statement I saw and it came on the back of a really kind of interesting article on me. So it called the God of Trading, and it was really not presented to be like that. It was supposed to be about the whole team and the network, but they changed it, and they got a picture of my nostrils like this, and it was this really kind of an invigorating picture in the ROB magazine. And the next day, they had an article saying that, everybody who's been on the front page of this ROB magazine has dropped off the face of the earth within a few months. And then the next day, there was an article saying that, you might as well change your name and move to Belize. That's where I have that statement. And it kind of got me kind of freaked out a bit. And then I started getting, beautiful, congratulatory mail and hate mail. And I realized that, when you have the ability to have presence, not everybody's going to accept you for what they have. Some people are haters, some people are lovers, some people are admirers. But at the end of the day, I didn't ask for this to happen to me. This is a career path I took. And I worked very hard to get there. But, I really felt guilty about it at the end of the day. And I kind of probably made me step back a few steps in business, saying that I don't trust this whole process. And I think that's part of selling papers and media. It's about selling articles, and I'm a totally believer in making money. But at the same time, you sometimes say statements that might hurt the people that are associated with it. So I think there has to be a bit of caution. But at the end of the day, no one really has caution in industry, because as we see, it's all about, profits and bottom lines and how's their quarter going to be and what their stock price is going to be and how they're going to move forward. And I do believe in the entrepreneurial spirit, but at the same time, there has to be a social conscience. And what I think music does, and I think what you do here now, is balance that, is you balance the social conscience about, yeah, it's great, it's great to do this, but is that really the way you want to live your life? There's a lot of things that might be, negative to a human being in their long-term benefit. And we've seen lots of suicides, we've seen lots of fentanyl deaths, yet, we haven't had, an aggressive program to really combat the Oxycontin and all the different doctors that have to subscribe this. I understand that it has a certain effect, but I'm a big fan of mental health, because myself, having gone through a death in my life, I was on, and I'm very open to say this, on antidepressants, and I have been, and I stepped off it. And it got worse, because once you step off it, you go down a rabbit hole, and that's even worse. So I went back to the place I was, and I became more involved in the process, because I think what's more important about people is the people. You have to understand, we all have issues. There's not a single person that doesn't have an issue. But, at the end of the day, you have to have respect, and you have to have the understanding that, everyone has feeling. And if you don't want to go down this path, then don't do it, but just be transparent about it. So if you want to take the cause. So I really believe that there's been some great cause. Sheldon Kennedy, who was abused as a hockey player as a young age, was really the foremost person to step out there and talk about this in youth. And, there's been now since then, this Me Too movement talks more about it. But the original Me Too movement was, girls and guys, whether it be in the gymnastic world or the hockey world, you didn't say this. Even if you talk to your parents, they say don't say it. So I think that it's really a revelation that, we actually have the ability now to talk openly about it and to cure the harms that, have long-term scars on people. And I hope that changes for the better. So that's why I'm a big proponent of mental health. I'm a big proponent of saying that, it is what it is. There's lots of people that I've known in my life, very famous people that have gone through this, and they talk openly about it. And I think that the media and the people that really want to make a difference in life, you only can do it in one way, but just telling the truth. It is what it is, And I think that, when we look at, some of the issues in my life, and I've had ups and downs in my life, but everyone looks at my life and say, man, I want to be you. And I go, be careful with you, sir. It might be true. And I think that, when you look at what you try to do and what you can do, has to be balanced between, what your expectation is. And I have lots of artist friends, and being involved with the Alma Combo, I talk about this all the time. The almighty dollar tends to drive the bus, How much will you pay for this band? How much will you pay for here? How much will you pay for this contract? But, as we saw with some of the most incredible bands in the world, whether it be Elvis Presley or the Beatles or John Lennon, I told the story today to somebody. I said John Lennon's album, when he came up, you look at the documentary about John and Yoko, his A-side was kind of not really accepted by the
Masses.
by the masses, or even by the producers. They looked at it and go. So he flipped it by the B side, and the first album he came out, he had it Imagine, and that song is now historically ingrained. But his best album as a solo artist came prior to his death, Double Fantasy, which talked about himself really stepping out of the focus. And I've had the luxury to deal with people like Paul James and Ronnie Hawkins, and to hear their story over 60 years. And, how do you get 60 years of experience? 60 years. So I find that, at 57 now, I'm actually getting smart about this shit, And it's very difficult because, people, you guys are in your 20s, and I respect you guys fully for doing what you're doing because you're doing something creative. But, you're going to go on a path of learning as well. But at least you're pushing the envelope to be there and to be a voice. And I think that's very important.
That was a lot. That was good.
Yeah,
I hope that was
a lot.
We're learning honestly.
That was a good one.
It was an honest statement. I kind of took it down for the path.
I love it because you touch on so many true parts, and a lot of times with mental health, people don't. You said you struggled, and people wish. I wish I was you. Sometimes be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
But then also on the other side too, the support that comes with it is so important, right?
It really is, and you have to kind of assume yourself. So I got the luxury to deal with people with Doctors Without Borders, and I hear their stories. I go, man, my life is simple. Or I deal with people that are in different environments and in addiction and in dealing with people that, have to do with suicide prevention, especially in this pandemic, the one biggest issue I find that we don't associate with is that we as humans need to associate with people. And there is no concern that people have to understand that we need to have a culture, and not a culture that is negative, but we have to get together. Yes, I totally agree with the safety and the efficacy of the pandemic. We could not spread this pandemic. It's dangerous. But that being said, we also have to have availability of process that we can actually connect with each other, whether through social media, but not negatively. Not, I like this, I like that. So we elevate somebody for putting a TikTok video out, which is not a bad thing. I'm not criticizing it. What I'm saying is that, we have to look at the fact that we want to elevate everyone and not de-elevate people. We're not bullies. We got to do that. I say as Canadians, we don't step on ants and we don't step on cracks in the road. We're very simple people. We apologize for closing the door on somebody.
Well, you want everybody together, right? You don't want to have that, like, it seems like everything online now is unhealthy, or it's a zero-sum game. Everyone thinks like for me to get famous, someone else can. Like, I need all the attention, I need the likes, I need to do this.
Exactly.
I got to put you down so I can feel good. Well, we need to bring people back to the middle more and have healthy conversations.
Yeah, I think that's it, and I think that endorsement of positivity has gone behind us because now we're trying to figure out, if someone is going to sit there on their head and take a skateboard and fall off and people make fun of them, is going to get 10,000 likes or whatever it may be. To me, that, is not really what we're about anymore. I think that what we have to do is, illustrate that person in the room, like yourselves who are doing a podcast, or someone's doing a music video, and they're doing it on their own based upon this little small studio that we're sitting in here today. Not to be disrespectful,
no,
the vibe is fucking cool. It is.
Go to cue
cool.
that part up. Eh? The vibe is fucking cool.
Yeah, the vibe is fucking cool with the signs, and it feels real. It feels like I'm authentic here. And, it's not to say that, people, because we're not sitting in a glitzy office where it's all make-believe, we're not doing something that, is bells and whistle, where it's been broadcast on a different day and we can take videos from some unknown person from other parts of the world to superimpose on us. This is who we are and where we are. And I think that that's what's the most important people. But this is something that you can demonstrate to everybody that they can do themselves, and they can show their own personality. Like I said, I got a beautiful family, but I, again, have to spend my time to make sure that I encourage them to do what they want to do. There's not a lot of opportunity right now. because of COVID. People are out of school. They're sitting at home. They're working on isolation as education. And it's a difficult place to be. We're not used to that.
Yeah. It kind of goes back to the point you made there too about like the authenticity and all that stuff, and just being real and doing it for the right reasons. It goes back to the point I think you made earlier at the beginning, that you know, back when your younger days, when you said about when you learned about being content, being happy, being happy with what you have, being content, not just how can I get the next boat, the next car, more fame, more fortune. It's doing things for the right reasons that are authentic to yourself, true to yourself. And if you do that, people notice that, and then it continues. Like they see, oh, this person's genuine. They're doing it for the right reasons. They're not doing it just to be famous or just be rich.
But
and then
sometimes you fluke out to get famous. So I'll give you a story. When I was I think I was 15 at the time, I was the hostess with the mostest. I was a crock and block host, which became part of the keg. And I was sitting there, and at that time it was at Shepherd Center, which is where the area I grew up in, at Yonge and Shepherd, as a young kid. And I had one suit from Big Steel, so I go there Thursday, Friday, Saturday at the age of 15, and it was a lot easier than being a busboy, which I was at 12. So I said, "Shit, man, this is a way easier job. I get tips, I get money, I wear a suit. All I have to do is say, enjoy your meal, waiter, busboy, bring them water, enjoy your meal." And one day I was sitting at front, and it was a downstairs location, so you had to walk down the stairway. And this guy robbed the place. And he comes in with a gun. I don't know what kind of gun it was, 'cause I'm not a gun guy. And I'm sitting there, and he goes, "Give me all your money." And I go, "Dude, I got menus and mints." The cash registers at the back of the bar. Nothing is worse than a dumb criminal. Okay, nothing is worth. So this guy is like freaking out, saying, "I want your money." He goes, "What do you have in your pocket?" I go, "Dude, I'm 15. I got 2 Players Light cigarettes in my pocket." He goes, "Give them to me." I go, "Fuck off," and he runs off.
Come on,
true story. As God is my witness, it's a true story.
Tell him to fuck off.
True. I go, "Fuck off," just because as a kid when in high school, give me fuck off.
Take a hike.
Like I don't have that. Fuck off because you got to pay for it. Hello, I said people that smoke other people's cigarettes are not really in my high fucking grade. Just being said, I shouldn't smoke, but that's what I do. But that being said, when I looked at that conversation, there was a lady that was a waitress there that was freaking the fuck out, going, "I can't believe it! Oh my God, I can't believe it!" And I became a hero of this restaurant, and I was like unreproachable. Like I could do whatever I want. I could have ice cream sundaes 24/7. Because I
that's all you thought about.
I saved the no. It was total fluke. I didn't really do anything. He ran out on his own accord, and for me, I just acted the way I did as I would in high school or whatever it was at the time.
Your authentic
so I was
self.
a 15-year-old kid, And but what I remember about that, it was that what they saw and my story that came after the fact kept growing. So next thing you know, I chased him out of there. I was the man who disarmed him. I didn't do any of that. Yeah. I just said, "Fuck off." And he ran away. But the story became bigger than life over the next year. And, needless to say, I went on to bigger pastures with Exchange. But, for that short period of time in my life, I was a hero. And it felt really good. So I started believing in myself, and I started believing the bullshit, Yes, I did do that, but I didn't, it was just like, it was just like me and you sitting here and going, "Hey man, give me your shirt." Fuck off. Okay. And you run out. Yeah, that's it, And I feel for the guy. He was probably a desperate person at the time, but, it just didn't affect me at the time. And maybe I was stupid. Maybe it was, but I said, "Dude, I got mints and menus. That's all I have. Pick your choice."
Right? They take all the mints he wants and just get out of there.
God bless you.
When did so tell me, where did you go from, I guess, this 15-year-old macho busboy to where you are now? How did it start? You talked about this haircut story.
I tried to be a musician, and I was never that good.
What was your?
I'm a guitar player and a singer.
Okay. Lead man.
No
we should bring a guitar in here. Right? So when we have someone who plays,
ain't no life when she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and she's always gone too long. Anytime I know. You can help me sing here, guys.
Oh, I was waiting.
Yeah, I'll leave that well behind. But no, it's very true. You know,
We're gonna see you on the stage at El Macombo soon.
You know, I finally, you know, I tried to play the El Macombo for so many years. I played the Hideout with my friend Clifton and a few people. I never made a penny, and I finally played the El Macombo. But this is my musician joke. I just had to buy it first. So after I bought it, when I closed the deal with the El Macombo, I had my mom, God bless her, because she passed away last year. And I had all my family there, Carly and everyone else there, and we all were there. I had open bar, so it's easy to get crowds when there's free beer.
Yeah.
And it was you know, one of my, you know, bucket list things, you know, and you know, because I was never qualified to be that character, you know, I finally played what I would say is the legendary El Macombo, but I did have to buy it first. True story.
It's an expensive karaoke day.
Oh yeah, and it got more expensive as we went forward.
Well, we're gonna get
Would
into
it?
that.
Would your 15-year-old self have been like thinking right now? You know, he was the hero then. Chase the guy at the restaurant. But when you're 15, would that have been a dream to play the El Macombo back then?
No, because, you know, I never would have thought I could have, you know. And again, you know, I was the son of an immigrant family, and you know, my dad spoke 5 languages. Unfortunately, his lesser language was English. You know,
Sorry, what's your background?
So my dad is Hungarian, German, and my mom is Austrian. But my dad spoke mainly. He had a syrup company. My mom was a teacher for 60 years at Michael Power High School, St. Joseph High School, a Catholic high school. Yeah, so she took care of the whole family. She was the matriarch. She's the love of my life, and I really am a mama's boy, and I totally admit to that.
Same here.
Yeah.
Shout out Elaine.
Shout out to Anastasia.
Yeah, shout out Elaine.
Shout out to moms. We got a lot of moms that listen.
Shout out mom. What's up?
Sorry,
but
continue.
it's true, you know, we all, you know, at some point in time in our life when things go shit, we all kind of call, Mom, I love you. And I miss that dearly, you know. But fortunately enough, I've changed my life where I'm now going to see my children have grandchildren, and you know, I look forward to that in the next stage of my life.
Gonna be Grandpa Weck soon.
Yeah, that sounds awkward. I'm feeling old as it is, you know. I said my chest hairs are turning gray. This is awkward.
Okay, well, let's start talking about El Macombo. Obviously,
Sure.
we all know what it is. We know it's, you know, one of the most legendary venues in the city of Toronto.
Yeah, Love You Live, Rolling Stones.
Yeah, I've heard the story about how you kind of bought it last minute, but tell us the real story. You know, like, did you really just come in there on the 9th hour?
It's the 11th hour.
The 11th. You know, it's the 9th hour today.
Yeah,
you
no,
came in at the 11th hour and just bought it.
100%. So
That's the real story.
Yeah, so I was in London, England, and my driver, who now drives a bunch of Toronto Maple Leaf players, named by the name of Rocket. So Rocket was my driver.
Rocket.
Yeah, Rocket.
What a great name.
Yeah, Rocket.
Especially for a driver.
Yeah.
Did he drive fast?
No, he actually was just very good. Rocket's a cool dude, man. He was a big bouncer back in the day at the CNE, so I knew him from the CNE days. So Rocket created his own kind of legacy. I can't say who he drives for, but you know, you think of the top players for the Toronto Maple Leafs, that's who he drives for, and he's a really cool dude. And so he started driving for me when I started on Dragon's Den. And I said, because they paid for a driver, I said, okay, cool. You know, I got to get there back and forth, and I'll be there. So I ended up doing that, and we're driving back, and I had to be in London for a transaction. As I flew back, he picked me up at the airport. I had to go back to my house in Forest Hill and get showered. As I shower and get back in the car, we're driving down Spadina, and we hear on Q107 that the El Macombo sign is for sale. So I go, fuck, we're on Spadina. I go, let's pull in. So we go there, and we pull in front, and there's nothing there. So he goes, Weck, let me call, you know, the owner. I know him very well. And I go, okay, man, you know, let's see what happens here. So he calls over, and we have a discussion, and we meet the next day. And, you know, I sit there, and it's 11 o'clock in the morning, and I look over, and I go, okay, you know, Mr. Grosso, Sam Grosso. I go, what do you want? He goes, well, I'm screwed. He goes, the place has been sold to a computer company, and my partner, who was my real estate partner, was also my lender through his family, and I can't make a penny if I don't sell it over X amount of dollars. And I go, well, what's that number? He goes, well, we sold it for 3.5, but everything over 3.5, I at least to get back to myself, and I can't. I'm taking my kids out of private school because he lives out in the country, so he's a great dude, Sammy. And I go, well, what do you need? He goes, well, if you give me 3.7, 3.9, you know, I'm in. I go, pop a beer, and I go, all right, I'll
a
pay
nice
you
Kingsville Brewery.
Yeah, I go, I'll pay. What's a recommendation here right now?
Kingsville.
Kingsville Brewery. If you don't drink it, I do. Why not you?
Like that.
Kingsville. We drink it. Why not you?
That's a great slogan. You might have to charge them for that. They're going to have to copyright
right.
that.
You tell them to compensate us right now.
Alyssa,
We'll do a 3-pack,
Carla?
okay?
That's a great
Hey,
slogan.
Kingsville, we drink it. Why not you?
That's a great one. That's easy. The pals drink it. How about you?
So you crack a beer, yeah?
Yeah, so I go there and I pop a beer and I go, you know, and I fortunately at that time, because I'm a very manic guy, I made a bunch of money that week. You know, I had a good trade in the market and I made some money, so I felt kind of rich, you know, and that's the way stockbroker people are. We're either up on top and buying Lamborghinis or we're canceling our cell phones, you know.
Yeah, taking the streetcar.
Yeah, take the streetcar. We're like either here or here.
There's no in between.
You know, and there's no in between. And so I was at the top place. I go, man, El Macombo, I'm in. So I came in and I stopped the transaction 2 days before it ended. And I said, okay, I'll pay it 3.8. And I ended up paying $4 million at the end of the day because I had to delay and do some transactions and go through legals and all the people. But it worked out quite well. And Sam and to me this day are very, very good friends. His wife was very thankful for the fact that, you know, I took a bad situation. It's not a lot of money, I guess, in the larger sense of life, but it gave him the ability to get out with dignity, get out with, you know, ability to say that my legacy of what I've tried to do for the music industry was not there. So then for the next 6 years, I endure this legacy. And $40 million later, here I am, which I overpaid by 20. There's no doubt, but I made it the best facility. We got a recording facility. I had to spend 3 years hand digging out the basement, going down 10 feet because I didn't want to change the original outset. You know, I wanted to keep it the original El Macombo. You know, I found bullets in the basement. I found, you know, bottles from the 1800s. You know, I found crazy stuff that I got memorabilia. But we dug it down 10, 12 feet and then brought it back up and repinned it. But, you know, like here you had to do it by hand. There was no, because we didn't take the building down, we had to do it that way. So it was totally cost inefficient. But I ended up doing it and building 2 isolated floating floors with dampeners and completely sound studio where there's no transference of sound. So I could have Metallica play on the main floor and Joan Baez or Diane Krall playing on the top floor. You won't hear anything. Wow. And we have 3 isolated areas. The first floor, the second floor, and the green room that we can film from in 4K going to 8K. We have a 5G format. We have the same technology going to Robert Street, which was installed by Bell. Thank you, Randy Lennox. And I think that, you know, we've accomplished something that no one else has. We put, you know, from a place that had the shittiest bathrooms on the planet because it was hooked up to the sewer system, we put in 28 bathrooms on the one level and 4 on the other level. So, you know, we've completely redefined what music could be. Unfortunately, we couldn't open. But, yeah, you know, I probably overspent by $10 million of mistakes. I'm not going to lie to you. But realistically, if I had to take the mistakes out of there, and so the rips I got, you know, rips we call that, but rip-offs.
I like that.
So I got some rips, but, you know, let's call it, you know, back end, you know, worst case is $30 million. And then I look at some of the facilities around the world, like the Colorado Springs facility by AEG. It cost them $32 million US. So I'm not that far off. And I got the best equipment. I have to commend Solotech. I have to commend some of the people like RPM Lights and Laundry Design. You know, like, we've had so many cool people that really believed in the El Macombo and believed in the longevity of a 70-year-old brand that they really went to bat for me. So I was able to sustain it because I owned the property. I didn't lose it. And you know, it's been a difficult year. Like last year, it cost me $2.5 million, not just in lost revenue, it was just in, you know, payments and everything else that I had to improve upon. So it's been a difficult time. I won't lie to you.
But you know what? I know a lot of people, especially in the music scene, really, you know, credit you for saving that, because it is arguably the most historic venue in Toronto for the music scene.
Oh, for sure. U2 played their first show there back in 1980 in March. Jeez. And it was the first show they ever played in North America. Not to say Canada, but North America. The first show that U2 played, they got paid $500. And I told them I'd pay them way more than that. But they did give me a shout out at the ACC when they played last year. The Rolling Stones, of course, recorded "Love You Live."
That was the cockroach. Was that the cockroach show?
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna send you one of those shirts for you guys.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it'd be very cool. And I'm doing some cool hockey shirts. I can do some good crap, man. But at the end of the day, when you look at the people that play there, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Blondie, Duran Duran, who's want to come back and play there, George Thorogood, who's coming back to play there. Ronnie Hawkins, who's had the most distinguished career playing Toronto downtown. And when I met with Ronnie Hawkins, who I know very well, and Paul James, which I took him up there, Paul James, man, you know what? One of the coolest things is that I'm with the guy that owns the El Macombo, but more importantly, I'm with Ronnie Hawkins, who is the El Macombo, because how long he's played there. So what people that don't understand of your generation is, what was the fabric of Toronto? It was the Isabella. It was the Gasworks. It was the Blue Room. There's all these great clubs. And it's unfortunate because you didn't have the luxury to benefit from it. Yeah, there's clubs and this, but the live music scene has really gone the wayside. So, from my standpoint, I think it's about, bringing back the artist. And, as not bringing back the artist to go to video or to go to, record, is bringing back the artist to go to live, to where you're relevant. There's nothing cooler than having your high school band become successful like USS is, and then playing for the group that say, man, we grew up with these guys. And I think that's kind of part of the mystique of it. There wasn't a time where in Boston that Aerosmith and Boston were not a big part of it. There wasn't a time where in Seattle where Nirvana wasn't a part of it. And those are things that really gravitate towards, I think, integrity of music. I do believe in music. I do believe in the longevity of it. And I think that the culture, whether it be in, rock and roll or in Hispanic music or in opera music, or I'm a big fan of opera Italia, or in reggae or in hip hop or in any genre that exists out there. My girlfriend is Cuban, and she's a big fan of reggaeton, and she's introduced me some people that I think are going to be great. Is Toronto ready for reggaeton? I say yes. And when you get
Sean Paul lives here. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Sean Paul lives in Toronto.
Is he Canadian?
No, I don't think so, but he lives in Toronto. Someone told me that the other day.
Wow.
Sean Paul. I was like,
no, okay.
I was like, give me the light. Give me the light, Sean Paul.
I'm going to say Sean Paul isn't the real Sean Paul, because it's like Bill Smith lives in Toronto. And if I got to look at the phone.
No, I'm almost. Jay, see if you can
Sean
find
Paul, if you're listening to this show,
Jay,
come and get your country ass the El Macombo.
Jay, see if Sean Paul lives in Toronto. Someone told me that the other day.
While she's looking that up, though, the thing you were saying on that topic of at least for what it feels like, as someone who grew up in music and has a big passion for it, I've traveled quite a bit, and every country I've been to, every city I've been to has a historic club or a jazz bar, a concert hall. And it's not like a concert hall like an Air Canada Center concert venue. It's like you walk in and it smells like old. It just smells old. You smell the asbestos in the ceiling.
Yeah.
And there's nowhere like that. It feels like Toronto now. I love this city. It's amazing. But the heritage aspect and the culture aspect,
away from it.
We want to keep the facade to build a condo above it.
That's right.
And it's like the history there is
fading. The
silver
dollar is exactly that. And I respect the Wise brothers, but at the same time, it's not the same. Mm-hmm. It's not the same to have Hughes Room goes down, or Rivoli goes down, or the Obert Room goes down, or the Mod Club goes down. And there's one after another. And I look at Zeke at the Phoenix and all these people. That's the things that we really, it's going in there. And you don't have to be, Charles Caboth has done an incredible job to create an environment. Yet he's been, sanctioned because of the environment that he can't do what he does. God bless, the Liberty Group and Charles Caboth, that they can live and survive, because without them, we don't have a culture here.
We're good friends with Nick's. He's not in Toronto. I'm gonna fact check that later. But
what's that?
Sean Paul. Doesn't look like he's in trouble. But someone told me, so I'll double check that later. But Nick DiDonato's son, Justin, I grew up with him at St. Mike's, and then George met him after.
I would have Meg's went for a year.
Pardon?
I would have said Meg's father Zinger.
Father Zinger, yeah.
Remember that in the main floor?
Yeah. And he
I
had his
loved
room
him.
set up.
I thought he was the biggest weirdo at first. He's passed away since then. I grew to love him. He was the coolest dude.
He's one of those guys you don't like while you're there, but once you graduate, you appreciate him.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I totally get it. And when I met him, and like I said, all right, here I fucking, because he was right in where the lockers were,
And he has room all decorated.
Yeah. And I go,
that was his room.
And I was a rebel, I was only there for grade 9, but at St. Mike's, that was the place you want to go there. I thought it would be a hockey player. When I went there, I didn't have pubic hair, and the guys in the dressing room had beards, right? I go, oh man, this is not going to look good for me, man. Like, how could this guy be my age? He's 400 pounds, 6'17". Needless to say, I got cut in the first fucking practice. And I thought it was a history player, but yeah, that's what it was. But Father Zinger, God bless him, he was one of the coolest dudes I ever met in my life, and I didn't realize it at first, but I do realize it now, as you said.
Yeah, and you know what? I want to go back to the musicians and the venues, because, like you said, a lot of the good venues are shutting down, but people like Charles, people like Nick are still
great
keeping these venues around.
Man, they're surviving.
Yeah, my question to you is, outside of the El Macombo, what's your favorite venue in the city for live music and outside of live music?
My best live music venue was the Orbit Room, to tell you the truth, and I'd like to see those guys survive. As far as a venue where I would like to go to where I feel comfortable, it would be Harbor 60, only because I like sports. I like the fact to do things. But Ted Nicolai.
Shout out to Ted Nicolau, my Greek buddy. He's the best.
I love Ted.
He's the best.
There's not many better than Ted.
No, he's a stand-up guy.
Ted Nicolai is, he gave me this. When my wife passed away, he took this off his neck. This is the Greek Orthodox.
Come on.
Yeah, he took it off his neck. And it's platinum. He goes, it looks at me, he goes, never lose it. And I thought I lost it once, and he said, no worry, you'll find it. I spent months looking through my Florida place to find it, which I finally did. But Ted Nicolai was really the saving grace for me in my trials and tribulations that I went through when I went through it. So I call Ted my godfather, and he really is a unique person. So if I had to say a place that I love dearly, if I had to go to a place in Toronto, it would be Harbor 60.
He's a really respected guy, and a lot of people that, from what I've seen, my father's actually very good friends with him as well. And whenever you go in there, he treats. It doesn't matter who you are. You can be a janitor or the CEO of a Fortune 100 company.
He's the king.
Treats you like you're gold.
But when you go there, you can sit outside at the fireplace. You can go upstairs to the bar. Everything he does is first class, and I think that he's a family guy. I love him dearly, but he makes everyone feel comfortable, and regardless of your foodie characteristic, there's not a better food restaurant. If you want steak, it's by far the best place. And I apologize to all the people that I go to that don't have it, but Ted is the best steakhouse. There's no doubt. But
that's
also,
it, Ace. This is the staple moment. Michael Wekerle, Harbor 60, best steak in the city.
Best in the city, man. That's my place.
That's it.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And you know what bothers me right now, especially with COVID, is they adapted to all the rules that needed to get made for COVID. They spent all this money setting up the tents, doing everything by the book.
Oh my
God!
Their tent is
Did
you
massive.
see that tent? Oh my God, was that great?
As nice as the inside.
We can all agree.
There's chandeliers.
It's crazy.
We can all agree that it's
sick.
There's grass floor.
Oh, I know. It's great. It was the best ever. I took Jazzy there with me, and we were blown away. And we had people coming to our table, encroaching us. And I just said, okay, I'll pay for it because I had such a good time there. Oh, I didn't care.
They should keep it.
But
that's the problem. Sorry, go ahead.
But then they changed over, and that was done in a very short period of time in a parking lot. What a cool dude that guy is. And he put his money up, and they pulled it on the rug on him.
Yeah.
So that's literally
shame on you guys.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Think about that. As a business owner, you play by the rules. You do something that people love, and you do it to the absolute best.
Yeah.
You do it like New York style, Miami style, Las Vegas style, which Toronto has not seen. We don't see that very often, that type of hospitality and that type of venue. And then, boom, gone. Can't do it anymore.
From under you, yeah.
You know, it's shit like that's sad.
I totally agree, Ricky, man.
I love going out. I'm a very social person. I love dinners.
Shocker.
Yeah. I love dinners. I love sporting events. I love going out with my buddies for drinks. I love doing things.
Dude, remember, I saw you 10 years ago. Now, I'm going to have to do a commercial break here and say, on behalf of Blank Slate,
Wow,
this stuff is cool shit, and you got to have this. And I'm going to take a bathroom break, and I'm going to say that this here is the heart health of products out here. And I want to recommend right now to everybody here that they take a hand of this. All right. This shake says it all.
I love it. We'll keep it rolling while you.
We'll go. Yeah, hey,
we got you.
You know what it is. But no, this. Do you know what? Again, and we're gonna. This is what I love about the podcast, and I'm gonna pump our own tires on this.
Let's go.
We get to have some of the best and coolest conversations ever.
Yeah.
Like I've met Mike before, and shout out Carly. I know you're here. We love you. We appreciate you setting this up. You and your sister are both awesome, and I'm so glad you guys set this up because we are so fortunate and lucky to be able to sit down with such cool, amazing people on a regular basis.
Yeah.
You know, without the podcast, we don't get to talk to these people in the same setting, in the same sense where you have their full undivided attention for an hour to 2 hours.
And you hear the stories like, you know, when we know Weck, like, I mean, you know him from way back. Obviously, we see, you know, you see him on TV, all that kind of stuff, and you know him from passing in business circles and all that. But, like, you don't get to hear these kind of funny stories.
No, and that's what it is, right? Like,
it's the authenticity.
Honestly.
The name of the game.
I love this, and you know, this is a good time. Even shout out to our sponsors on this episode, Kingsville Brewery. You guys are awesome. Blank Slate. Shout out to you, Flow Water. Everybody else.
Yeah, Kingsville. Hey, and if anyone noticed, whoever's watching the YouTube, this sick red fridge we got next to us. Pop it open, grab a nice Kingsville cold brew. There you go.
That was the freezer.
That was the freezer. Sorry, keep them extra cold in there.
But yeah, so we just
actually Kingsville. Thank you guys so much. This is super convenient. I don't have to get up and get drinks anymore.
This is gonna be super nice.
Yeah. I got rid of the recording aspect. Jordan, thank you for that, taking on that stuff. So now I can just serve beers.
Unreal.
Kingsville, you're the best.
Do you know what?
What was like slogan? If we're drinking it, why aren't you?
Kingsville, we're drinking it, so are you. I love that. No, but honestly, we also love, and we were talking about this off air, the importance of supporting local Canadian brands. If you are listening to this right now, if you can support local brands, definitely do it. Carly, what's the one that your dad was talking about earlier?
Pour it into this.
We'll get it while you're looking up. All of our sponsors, I'd like to mention all of our sponsors. Every single one we've had has been a Canadian brand or a Canadian company, so it's very important to support local. Kingsville Brewery, Kingsville is a product of Canada. Cottage Springs is made in Canada. Flow Water.
Check
Live and Let Rock. Live and Let Rock. Big shout out to them. I know, Mike, you're a big
Live
fan.
and Let Rock.
We love it.
You know, here's Live and Let Rock. It's right here now. And I want to show this to you because it's a local artisan who did these Elma Combo flags, you know, for your lapel. And I'm really a big believer in supporting local artists, as is my friends here. And they take local product and they try to do it and they try to promote it, which is what else can we do is to support each other. It's a communal network, and we have to actually understand one thing is that 1 + 1, if it equals 3, you've won the game.
Hey, I love that. Cheers.
I love that. Yeah, cheers.
Hey, and I love that the pin.
Yeah,
we gotta get our hands on.
I'll be getting you there. It'll only cost you $4.95.
Hey, you got it.
That's it.
That's a steal.
Our cost is a lot less.
No, but we'll make sure we share the link.
Yeah, don't worry. You can charge me overpriced beer too. Don't worry. I'll buy it.
Oh man.
I don't even remember where we were.
So, yeah, let's go on. Yeah, so, Elma Combo, we're going to have some great shows coming up. We have some anniversary shows, and I'm probably premature in saying it, but we have the greatness of the heritage acts of Gordon Lightfoot. We have the unique acts of a new album coming from the USS. We have some really cool shows coming up from Matt Dusk and Holly Cole, the jazz trio that she has. And I really believe that these are the up-and-coming, really cool Canadian acts. We try to focus on Canada. We have a great new repertoire, including Danny Fernandez from the past, with Sean Desmond doing a movie at the Elma Combo, so I'm really looking forward to that and seeing that production. I'm looking forward to Andre Papatez of the Giants, which is another indie band. And, of course, you know, Michael Wekerle, which I call my daughter, and she's great. And Nate Davio and some really cool acts that are coming up, and coming up with David Morrison. These are kids that just want to make it, so we're promoting them, we're paying for their production, and we want to try to sit there and do two things. One is to make sure that we provide great music to Canada, whether it be George Thorogood, Duran Duran, U2, hopefully the Foo Fighters, and Neil. Once the traffic gets, Vince Neil's going to come in with Motley because Motley Crue has a contract with Live Nation and they're our friends, but they have radius clauses, so we have to be constant about that. We're a 500 seat venue, and 2 floors, so let's call it 1,000. But we don't want to. We want to be the artistic group, not the what I call the big box group. There's going to be lots of places that have more space than we have. But, we're hopefully to actually create this really cool streaming library and create El Macombo TV. And El Macombo TV is going to be something that, when you're sitting there and you want to go to bed and you want to watch any genre, it's just kind of that background music and background coolness that you can see stories about people and their lives, and I'm hopefully to create that because that's kind of what I like to do, I like to watch TV and I'm kind of a creature of habit, and I like to kind of have that background music where I might wake up in the middle of the night and, have a whatever, chocolate milk. And,
a Twix bar.
Pop. and just sit there and just, because your mind is so active, our anxiety level as human beings is difficult. We go up and down on the elevator, and it's very difficult to create a business, especially under this press and pressure that we have, so you got to be able to have a release, and sometimes it's in the middle of the night. You can't really pick those times, but at 3 a.m. just to sit there and see a show by, for lack of a better person right now, Our Lady Peace, who are friends of mine, and come with a new song and just go, hey man, that brings me back to a point where I like, and we all have our own music genres, but, it's that sense of music that drives people together to feel that they're connected, and it feels that, it gives them the strength to move forward in their own business, whatever that business is, because it's a difficult challenge. Life is not easy. If it was easy, we'd be sitting here on a beach, flipping fucking tiddly coins,
100%. I agree. It's an uphill battle the whole way.
It is, your battle, but I'm very proud of you guys. Look at, this is a great testament to have your signing wall, the sponsorship that you have. You are a Canadian story, and I'm very proud of what you've done. I don't know your success at this point in time, but I'll tell you, I'm very comfortable to be a part of your show. I'm very comfortable to say thank you very much for having me here.
Of course.
This
is going to be our biggest episode.
Thank you.
Oh, God. They're going to see that suit on YouTube, and it's going viral.
Wow, yeah. All right. It was that I just wear the Borat outfit, yeah?
That was
Carly's shaking her head. She's like, no.
I don't, Dad, don't do it.
Dad, don't do it.
You did that on my birthday when I was 8. Please don't do it again.
No, but you know what? Even telling our friends, yeah, we got Mike Wekerle coming on. I'm like, how the hell did you do that? We're like, well, obviously we know a couple people, but the fact that it's a testament to who you are, pleasure. Right? You support these I don't want to say small local guys, but basically we are. We're small local podcast.
Because what I believe is that, and Ricky, you're a great example of this. And I think that, the fact that you have an association with my daughter, and my daughter said, you remember him, he was there. No, I'm not going to completely lie to you. I didn't remember that time. But what I do know is that my daughter is my love, and it's important to her. So I think that, one life creates another life. So Carly's life gave me the presence to be a part of your life. Your life can be a part of presence to be in your life. And this is how the world goes around. And, we have an essence of understanding that, 1 + 1 = 3, and we have to coordinate. We have to combat the bullshit of, people that say we can't do it. You're not able to do it. You can't have the production. Yes, we can. We can do it on our own accord. We don't need, a PBS channel. We don't need to have a national broadcast channel. We just got to go there and do it. And now the El Macambo is a venue, and I will have you guys, the El Macambo, do an introduction of a band there. You tell me the band, you guys are there.
That honestly.
Love that.
But that's what it's about. It's promotion, If we don't promote each other, and whether you promote me, it's okay. But I hope you promote someone that would give you the same benefit that I gave you. So
Appreciate
it's about,
that.
Pay forward.
100%.
No, but we definitely do. And that's, again, we were saying this off air. We get to sit down with so many unique and amazing individuals on this podcast. And a lot of times we don't know who they are, and they reach out, hey, I've got this new track coming out. Yeah, perfect. Let's get them on. And, we've had PR people and managers reach out to us for artists that are now Juno nominated artists, which telling you off the air, we've got 4 artists.
I've never nominated for nothing.
No.
Other than a few charges that I totally disregard, and it was not my fault. I totally take the back seat. I was not there. I would like to claim the 5th. Which I don't know if the 5th exists. I think it's the 7th or
Is it I plead the 5th?
I don't know what it is. I just make shit up.
Yeah, I love it. Honestly, you give me so many quotes that I'm going to use for the rest of my life.
Hey,
1 + 1 is 3 is my favorite.
As someone told me, there's no proprietary on good shit. You can all steal it. Everyone does it.
Yeah, I love that.
And we got Jay in the house.
Shout out to Jay.
Shout out Jay.
I wanted to ask, besides obviously El Macambo being the number 1 venue in the city, what's your favorite if you've been to another one anywhere else in the world?
That's just a statement. So I'll say that, there's 2 things, Number 1, I had the most incredible experience at the Greek Theater, having seen Quadrophenia with Pete Townsend and Billy Idol. And maybe it was the environment. Maybe it was the fact I was with Eddie Kramer. Maybe it was the fact that I was with Pete Townsend. Maybe it was the fact that Billy Idol came up to me and chatted with me with his kids, and he seemed like this coolest dude. Where I thought Billy Idol, what day for a white wedding? He just seemed like a complete family man, And I looked at myself, I go, pinch yourself. And at the same time, I'm walking down, and this music mogul falls down on me, and he goes, I guess I've had too much to drink. I won't mention his name, but he's probably the most relevant music mogul in the 80s, 80 years old, that ever existed. And, everyone knows his name. And I look at him, I go, hey, is that you? He goes, yeah, but don't tell anybody. And I go, don't worry, man, I'm drilled too. And it was just this so we hung out,
After we were done recording,
I never talked to him again. Maybe we'll, but I promised him I wouldn't. But so I can't defy that trust. But after that time, I sat with him for like an hour. It was the coolest time because he told me these stories of all these bands, from Bob Dylan to Janis Joplin to The Doors to, like on and on and on. And he was just, he trusted me, and that's why I can't betray his trust. But I thought was the coolest thing is that, how did I get in this position? I'm a Torontonian in California, in Los Angeles. And because I caught him falling down a stair because he was drilled. And, and I was drilled because I was there before him, getting drinks at the bar.
You were falling down the stairs before him. That's how you caught him.
I got the drink at the bar, and I got 2 drinks. Oh, fuck. I got this, But he's a very legendary guy if you know the music industry. And to this point, I sometimes meet people that are very high up, and I'm very disappointed with meeting them. And there's other people that are high up that I feel I'm graced to meet them, like Ronnie Hawkins and Paul James and Chris Christopherson and Gordon Lightfoot, where they tell me stories. And I've had this time, and I go, I'm a blessed man. I've had the luxury growing up, and every day I find that, I'm a struggle. I don't think as an entrepreneur you ever feel like you get out of this rat race. Mm-hmm. You're always trying to run the race to try to get better. The more better you do, the more you spend. And I just hope that, some of the people I know in life, including yourselves, that we get that point where we say we got equilibrium and we can make it, and we can make it and enjoy our life, because, the best thing in my life are my children, and I can say that emphatically. And my girlfriend Jazzy today, who has really taken me to a point where it's got me stable. I might have been kind of a crazy dude back in my day, and a lot of people know me, and there's a lot of, I said my, YouTube tells a lot about me, so I can't really argue with that. Some's true, some's not true, and some is make-believe, but I won't tell you which was which, but it is what it is. You gotta own up to what you did, both good and bad. And I made some bad decisions in my life, and I regret them. But at the same time, I'm the luckiest guy on the planet because I've got a very strong family. I got a business career that is still moving forward. I've gone from the brokerage industry to the music industry to the fintech industry to the real estate industry, and I've pivoted. Yet at 57, I don't know where my next stage is, but what I do know is that I believe in passing the mantle, and the mantle might be to you or my children or whoever it may be, but I want to invest both emotionally and economically in business that want to do things that are good and want to be there for the right reason. Like I said, I've seen lots of business right now, and haven't been a cannabis smoker most of my life. Do I believe that is an industry that has gone too far and beyond? I'd probably say yes. Like, shit, man, half the people that promote it don't even smoke it.
Dispensaries everywhere now.
Yeah.
Every corner.
And half the people that sit there and say they know what they want to do don't participate in the action. So as an old friend of mine said to me back from the Apple days, so when an individual was part of the Apple group, and the founder of Apple said that, he doesn't do what he sells. If you sell what you do, you got to own what you do, and you got to actually do what you do. And I don't know if that makes sense to most people, but I believe that, if you're going to promote something, you got to own it. And if you own this music or you own this show, you own it and you believe in what you do. It's not about just, putting the bullshit out there to say that I'm the guy in the front stage, And I find that in the cannabis area, it's become such a flagrant area of money creation with people that have no knowledge of really what's going to go on. And like in the automotive industry back in the 20s, if you go back to the old days of Ford, there are 700 different companies, of which five survived. So, it's history repeats itself.
Of course.
And I think that people have to understand that. So you people who are investing in weed stocks, be careful what you wish for. It might come true. But make sure you understand that, what are the fundamental values, and make sure you spend your time going through the annual reports, the quarterly reports, and make sure it's a business like anything we do. You don't run your business without understanding the value of what your cost analysis is, what it costs you to produce WEC here,
Couple coffees.
Well, I only get 2, so that's okay.
No, you kidding? This was a 10-year investment. Hello, I've been friends with Carly for more than 10. We were friends since
but that's
16?
my point. Is that
Yeah.
having been an
15-year
investor
friendship
for 30, 40 years, is that I just think that people understand that. Do your due diligence, do your information. I did my due diligence on you guys. You guys are awesome. I wanted to be here, and I thank you very much for inviting me here. And I want to say thank you very much. My daughter, Carly, Jay, you rock. Jazzy, rock on.
Love that.
That
was a great point. I also that was a good point to end on, but I got a couple more questions I still want to ask. That was such a good 5-minute monologue there. I was like, damn, that was a good ending point. But you mentioned something about being authentic.
That was the anticipation, guys.
Yeah.
Now we're in overtime.
Yeah. You talked about being authentically yourself, right?
Yeah.
And you obviously a whole theme of this is being authentic and honest and being true to yourself. And I think that's a big part of how you end up getting involved in Alma Combo.
Yes.
And I feel like at least everything I've read and all the stories I've heard over the years that you've always been yourself and you didn't take shit from anybody else and you don't care what other people think. You're going to be yourself. And my main question is what the tattoos that you've got. Bay Street was always known as a, clean cut, can't have crazy hair, tattoos were always not recommended, but you don't give an F. You've always just been you. What was that like when you were, I guess, a little bit younger and you're, basically fully tatted?
Well, I started at Toronto Stock Exchange with my hair down the middle of my back with a company called Jeffrey Leclerc. And they used to call me Puff, which I fucking hated. And they made fun of me back for the 6 months. It was running.
Did you have tattoos back then or no?
I didn't get my tattoo till I was back in my early teen or late teens. Let me call that.
Okay.
So I was 18 years old, and I got my tattoo probably when I was 22. But what happened is that I went there, and they're all straight laced, and they made fun of me. I used to get thrown out of bars, like thrown through the lattice window at Marta's, and but I stuck it through. I had to take the beat down, and I think that in life, when you go into any new environment, you got to stand up to the bullies of the world. So some good people and bad people, you got to dissect through it. But I had a difficult time the first 2 years. I was totally unsuccessful. But then, I used to get, as I tell my friends like Mark Grimes, who's a counselor, he says, he used to get me coffee and bagels, and I used to reheat them. Incredible. In that days, Druxy's was the only bagel place, and I'd go there, please reheat this bagel, because I just get 400. Go, please, if you don't do this, I'm going back there and doing it myself. I swear to God, I got to do this. Because I had no choice. I didn't have money to pay for it. The next one, right? And they would just yell at me because I was too late, or it wasn't warm enough, or whatever it may be. And then I got a backbone. So I started creating a system where I started making money off these fuckers. And then I started doing it, and they got respect for me. But it's funny, respect comes from people standing up to other people. And I never knew that. I just did it out of reality because I couldn't afford it anymore. And, out of that, became my next career move, which is I went down there and I got to meet people, and I did every course I possibly could do, because the education is the paramount effort of everybody who wants to succeed. If you don't have education, we don't have a society. And I did it after, like I said, I spent a cup of coffee at York University, and I don't think I really had any kind of, acumen in university, or definitely in high school. But what I did do is I realized later on in life that, this is a need to succeed. And I did that as a need to succeed. I had to do it on my own accord to make money and to get my next stage up there. And for that reason, I got hired by First Marathon and Alec Miller, and which I call Barney. And, to this day, I still talk to Bob Disbro and Lawrence Bloomberg and Eric Savix, who's my best friend, And it just, you realize that 30 years later, what you set your essence before continues on. So what you do today will matter 25 years later. So I'll see you on Good Morning Canada or something like that.
That's a good one. Let's hit the questions.
Yeah.
We got last two that we ask every guest.
Okay, go.
The first one. If there was
Brazil. I feel like I'm a Family Feud,
if there was a movie about your life, who would you want to star as you? Could be anyone from any point.
Tom Hulse from Amadeus.
I don't know who that is.
So watch Amadeus, you'll see that. That's
Okay.
me.
That was a quick one.
Yeah.
You've been asked that before?
No.
Wow.
You just like him? Do you know him?
Yeah, it's just how I identify with. Amadeus.
Okay, last question. If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
If I give some advice, I would say take life slowly and understand one thing. The race is not a sprint. It's an endurance marathon where you have to adjust every time. I can't tell you that you're going to get the right answers, but what I can tell you that over time, you're to get the right statement based upon your own internal believing. I'm a big believer in God. I've become very religious in the latter part of my life. And I do believe that you have to reflect upon what's important to each other. And I'm not trying to enforce my religion on people. What I'm trying to say is that reflect upon what is important to you. Look within your own soul and say, what is important? Don't always worry what everyone wants you to do, as I spent most of my life doing. You have to make your own decision, because the only thing in life you control is one thing, and that's your decision. Everything else is random. And when you control a decision, then you control what your next statement's going to be. Other than that, you control nothing.
Deep.
Great advice.
Love it.
That's
Anytime.
it.
Mike, we
Ciao,
appreciate,
ciao.
we appreciate you coming on and taking the time to sit down with us. Honestly, been a great conversation. If people want to find out more about you, what you're doing, where can they go? How can they find you?
Well, come down to elmacombo.com and check out what we're doing. And anything you want to do, you got to reach out to Max at elmacombo.com or Alicia at elmacombo.com, who are my 2 booking agents that take care of my El Macombo business. We also have Andy Curran and Julie Hoffman, who do the work there right now. Obviously, Carly Wekerle, Queen Bee, is my love, and Danielle Wekerle, who works alongside Carly, because it's a family affair. It's a family affair, and that's what we got to work on, man. And thank you very much, man.
Well, thanks. Been a pleasure.
Appreciate it. If you made it this far, subscribe, like,
All right.
follow Mike,
So
all that fun stuff.
I leave you with one statement here. Back to my statement of Dragon's Den. Wex out of the house.
Done.